Well, hi everybody. Welcome inside Brew Brothers. We're inside the Eldorado. We're at the Roll. It is the inaugural Wolfpack Coaches Show with the new head football coach, Jeff Choate. Coach, you're new, but you're not new. It's been 8+ months, but it's a new season.
Yeah, it is. I think yesterday one of our players said, "Hey, I read something today, said it was exactly 8 months to the day that you were hired." And I said, "I don't know if it feels like 8 days or 8 years, buddy." So yeah, it's on us now, though. It's on us now. We got a little more than 72 hours before kickoff.
Yeah,
so.
It comes quickly. And one of the things I want to talk to you about is, this is a game week. You had kind of a 2-week game prep period right after camp. But at first, I just want to kind of ask, this is now the season. These are the gatherings. We will all gather at 5 o'clock at Mackey Stadium on Saturday for kickoff against Southern Methodist of the ACC, SMU. And that is one of the powerful things about football. And I just was curious your thoughts about that. It is, unlike any other sport, especially in college, a chance for the community to gather. And in hearing you talk about your journey in the sport, I think that means a lot to you. It's a place for everybody to come together.
Yeah. Football's a unique sport. I think in general, athletics is kind of the front porch of a university. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it's so important that we have a great showing on Saturday, not just for the University of Nevada, but also for the community of Reno and greater Northern Nevada. There's nobody else. If you like college football, there's only one game on, right? That 5 o'clock slot, Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's a nationwide audience. I don't know when the last time, maybe 2010 was the last time that was the case for a Nevada football game. And so really want to encourage our community to come out and support this. I know we've had some people do some really cool philanthropic things, donate 1,000 tickets to the Boys and Girls Club to make sure that we can fill the stadium best we can. And, that's one thing about this place I figured out in a hurry, is that this is a really community-minded place. People rally around causes, and they rally around their teams. And so I'm looking forward to seeing a great atmosphere in Mackey on Saturday.
Jeff Choate is with us. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show. We are live at Brew Brothers inside the Eldorado. And if you're listening on old school terrestrial radio, that's 94.1 FM, 1450 AM. We're also live on Facebook with pictures, with audio right there. Coach, you're right there.
Yeah, I'd probably better for radio, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's 2024. It's a multimedia experience being a head coach. I mean, are you tired of the jackals in the media yet? Messaging is so much a part of your role.
Well, yeah, and I think actually, number one, I appreciate and respect the job that media people have to do. It's difficult at times. I mean, I think about, okay, I got to have this content's got to go out at this time. Give me something to write. And so I try to be aware of that and conscious of that. And I also understand that it's a platform for me to get my message out. Mm-hmm. And so I try to be, really purposeful when I do that, but also try to make their job easy by giving them something to write about.
Well, one specific element of the messaging that you've been consistent on since your introduction to this community has been the concept of launch. And I see you're actually wearing it on your wristband here, launch. Now, like any red-blooded American, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a kid, so I like the word launch.
Yeah.
Tell me how you chose launch.
Yeah, you're kind of sitting there thinking, okay, what do we want this to be about? I mean, in this program in particular, there's been a lot of turnover, right? What am I, the third head coach in 4 years here in the football program, and I think obviously, hey, well, we're looking for a rebuild. Nobody really wants to hear that word, and I think that, the imagery of the word launch, I think is powerful, and I think our players rallied around that, and the community started to rally around that, and we've got an opportunity to, light the candle on Saturday and see where this thing goes.
I mean, that light the candle, that's Alan Shepard. That's the first American in space, so that's good continuity of the launch concept. Tell me about game week versus camp, because camp, you're not necessarily preparing for SMU, although that's in everybody's minds, but how is it different from your training camp to your game prep?
Yeah, every single training camp has a different rhythm. Ours was obviously started early with the 0-week game. It's about 3 weeks now, but it's very different than probably some of the people in the room that played college football remember. There's no such thing as two-a-days anymore. You can't have 2 consecutive practices where there's contact, meaning tackling to the ground. You have to give them at least 1 day off every 7 days. And so you used to have what they call 29 practice opportunities. You used every single one. before your first game. Now we get in that probably 20 to 23 range because you're giving them extra days off. Now the difference is that these kids are here all summer, and so they're in a little bit better shape and ready to go a little bit more, but you still got to get them in football shape. So training camp is about us. Training camp is about identifying our playmakers. Training camp is about these guys learning what the expectations and the standards of how we practice and conduct ourselves are. It's about making mistakes because you're going to stretch yourself every single day, and you don't get better if you don't try harder. And so not living in your comfort zone, but trying to learn new skills, try new techniques. And then we get to our mock game week last week, and we start turning our attention to, hey, this is how we prepare for an opponent. And obviously now we're on to the true game week with SMU.
Let's touch on something you said there. To make mistakes, to get outside of your comfort zone. So you want your student athletes, I see what you mean, you want them to extend themselves. So how do you coach mistakes in a way that's positive but doesn't kind of reinforce the error?
Well, if your practice is perfect, you're not trying hard enough, right? Like it's like let me take this. This is probably an example or an analogy everybody can understand. Okay, so I'm the 4-year starting inside linebacker, and we're doing one-on-ones against the running backs, and I go up against the walk-on redshirt freshman. Right? Is that going to make me better, or am I going to line up against that 4-year starting running back that's going to test me and make me better and make me have to try a new technique? Maybe if it's one-on-one pass rush, I've got to try a new move because he's seen all the other ones I have. And so that's what I mean. It's like now's the time to dip into your bag and try different things and then start to perfect those and make sure that you're stretching yourself every day in practice, because that's how you get better.
We're visiting with Jeff Choate. It's the first Wolfpack Coaches show of the season. We're live at Brew Bros inside the Eldorado at the Row. Our friends at Baselite. Our great friends at Baselite, looking forward to watching Wolfpack Athletics get back out there and play this year. Call Baselite for any of your concrete product needs. 775-358-1200. Baselite, 775-358-1200. I don't know if you're buttressing a retaining wall or something that you might be doing. I'm sure you can give them a shout at Baselite. Appreciate their partnership over the seasons. Also, this is another great Jeff Choate messaging. Like, can we just talk about you've obviously worked on your branding and your concise messaging. The Drive for 25,000. Pack Mackey Stadium this coming Saturday, 5 o'clock kickoff against SMU. You can get tickets for as low as $20. Go to NevadaWolfpack.com or call 775-348-PACK. Get your friends, your family. We'll see you at Mackey. Yeah, we got launch, we got Drive for 25. That rhymes. It's resonant, Coach.
Yeah, alliteration. I taught English out of my area for a year or two. I have to apologize to the kids I taught every time I see them. So.
But you know what alliteration is, and you know what English is, and this is, like Coach Edwards. Where's Mike Edwards, my broadcast partner? There you are, Hall of Fame, class 2018. Earth Sciences teacher.
Yeah, I've met Mike, yeah.
Yeah, you know. So, Mike and I will talk about, geology or something. We were at the Sun Bowl. I said, Mike, what kind of rocks are these when we played there in 2019? Yeah. There's a lot of, I don't want to say sneaky, but maybe not foregrounded intellectualism in football coaching.
Yeah, I think you're, that's hyperbole.
But you use.
But I use that in context. Yeah, there you go.
That's
good.
You
got me again there.
A coach that you and I both know, who shall remain nameless, once referred to hyperbole. I'll tell you that was during a break. Yeah. How do you game plan for your own team without knowing exactly what your team is?
Well, I think here's the deal. I'm not game planning. What I'm doing is I'm looking at SMU, which we do know who they are.
Sure.
Right? They've got a coaching staff that's going on its third year. There's some continuity there, same coordinators.
Quite a bit.
A lot of returning starters on both sides of the ball. They've added some pieces through the transfer portal. They've obviously stepped up, winning the American Conference last year and going into the Atlantic Coast Conference. And so I think that what you look at is you look at this body of work that we have. Really, you can throw spring ball out the window. I think at the G5 level, spring ball might be a complete exercise in futility at this point because you don't even know who your roster is until they get there for summer training.
You got like 50 new guys in spring, right?
That
more than 40.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So you're not My real question is, how do you know what you want to do when you don't necessarily exactly know what your team is?
I know what I want our identity to be.
Yeah.
But I also have to identify what the guy's strengths are. What's Belu really good at? All right. So let's build an offense that's gonna help him be really good. I know I have some absolutes, which is, we got to be able to run the ball. We got to be able to control the line of scrimmage. I want to push the ball vertically down the field in the passing game. And now the rest of those pieces are what are our playmakers? Who are they? What are their skill sets? How do we make sure that we get them the ball? Like, I have this expression that I got from a coach a long time ago, and I've never forgot it. It's game on the line, think player, not play. As coaches, oftentimes we fall in love with the X's and O's, and you got to fall in love with the player. Okay, you know what that kid can do, and when the game's on the line, make sure that your best guys are touching the football or affecting the game on the other side. Henry should be in a position to affect the passer if it's 3rd and 15 with the game on the line. If he's dropping into coverage, that's bad coaching. And so, that's kind of what I try to challenge our coaches on all the time, is like, who are the guys that we have that can affect the game in all 3 phases and put them in a position to do that. And then build these offense, defense, and special team skills around schemes around their strengths. And so that's what the process of those first 3 weeks are. Hey, what do we do well? Who do we think we can be? And now I've even mentioned this, but now we got this 5-week period of time, which is really preseason, that we kind of get to continue to play with that. I think we'll find that groove before we get to week 5. But as long as we hit it before we get, that bye week and we come out of the bye and go to San Jose, and we're ready to roll and make some noise in the Mountain West.
All right, first segment done. Give it up for Jeff Choate. We're going to take a break. That's a great segment, Coach. We'll be back live right here at Brew Brothers out the road, the Eldorado. Still to come, we got David Gilbertson, quarterbacks coach. And
Gilby.
Who's coming? Which student athletes are we getting?
Oh, we got B. Lou, Brennan
Lou,
Lewis,
okay.
AJ, Bianco,
okay.
and Preston Purdy.
Okay, all right. We got quarterbacks still to come. We'll take a timeout. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. Welcome back. We're live at Brew Brothers inside the Eldorado. We're at the Row. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show. I'm John Ramey. He is Jeff Choate. And the Wolfpack, Coach Choate's Wolfpack, taking on SMU to open the season. 5 o'clock kickoff on Saturday at Mackey Stadium. Tickets are still available. You can get in for as little as $20. Come see the Mustangs. They're already receiving votes for the top 25 in both big polls. Go to NevadaWolfpack.com. Mike Edwards and me will have the call starting at 4 o'clock with the Bud Light pregame show, tailgate show on 105.7 FM. And we, of course, will have all the action all year long. Coach Choate, there was a cool release that went out today to commemorate the University of Nevada, Reno's 150th birthday. The 152nd Airlift Wing, Nevada Air National Guard, will fly tomorrow the sesquicentennial commemorative Battle-Born Shield over the area and over Mackey Stadium. And after the flight, the high rollers of the Nevada Air Guard will present the shield at 1 o'clock at the Air National Guard base to President Sandoval, to Stephanie Remp, and to you, and to Todd Renwick, who is, of course, the operations director.
Yeah.
This is super cool.
Yeah, well, this is a brainchild of John Galloway, and I think those Wolfpack folks probably recognize his commitment to celebrating the USS Nevada, and I think that the Trident was something that was representative of, the ship that wouldn't sink, and some military imagery around that. And this particular shield, I mean, there's so much history that's tied into it, that's embedded into it, and I think it's going to be a really cool symbol of our program. And it's an awesome way to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the University of Nevada.
This really caught my attention. The shield is 107.8 inches and 47 inches diagonally in recognition of Nevada as the leader in the nation's silver production and the Mackey School of Earth Sciences and Engineering. 107.8 and 47. So the dimensions of the shield, 107.8 inches and 47 inches. That's the atomic weight and the atomic number of silver, the silver state. Any chemistry fans out there with your, there you go, Mike. I knew you'd like that.
There's some pretty cool stuff. Like, there's 20 stars around the shield, and the sum of 1, 8, 7, and 4, 1874 is 20. Yeah. Like, there's all this different imagery that he spent a ton of time researching, and I think it symbolizes a lot. And so I think it'll be a really cool opportunity for us to celebrate the 150th, but I think it's also going to be something that we utilize within our program in a neat way as well.
That's super cool. All right, let's talk about SMU. The best coaches I've had the privilege of being around will always, as I know you will, reiterate that it's not about them, it's about us, right? But there are some realities on the ground about SMU that I suspect would give any good faith football observer pause.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So here are just the highlights. They return their top 2 passers, their top 3 running backs, their top 5 receivers, their top 4 all-purpose gainers, their top 7 tacklers, their sack leader, their top interceptor. And they were 8-0 in their last year in the American last year and 11-3 overall. So they certainly have an identity, as you mentioned.
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that you'll see from an offensive standpoint when you look at SMU, I think there's going to be immediately you're going to think Texas team, guy with Texas Tech ties as the head coach. This is an air raid. It's not. This is a very balanced attack. They run the ball, pass the ball almost 50% of the time. They're really balanced in that regard. They take a lot of vertical shots. I mean, I hope the wind is blowing really hard in Mackey, and so which there's a good chance that it will be, based on my personal experience there.
Yeah.
There's so they're gonna push the ball down the field vertically. You win a lot of these 50-50 balls. They're going to take 11 to 15 shots a game. That's just what they do. If you play press into the boundary and they see single safety, they're going to throw it.
11 to 15, what, 20 yards plus?
Yeah, over 20.
Okay.
And so you go balls or whatever you want to call them, fades. And so that's going to be kind of who they are, but they're still going to run the ball a significant amount. And so that balance really is the challenging part of defending an offense like this, because you can't just hone in on one aspect. And they're explosive, they're experienced, 9 of 11 starters returning. Doesn't matter which quarterback they play, they may play both of them. Both of them are very, very talented and very experienced players. They've won a lot of football games, so they have a ton of confidence. They are well funded in NIL and other areas, and they made that leap up into the big boys. And so I think they're trying to make some immediate impact in the ACC. And their schedule is really pretty favorable for them in that regard. And this was a game that came about because they lost a game with Vanderbilt, and they needed to find a 12th game, and we had a 0-week open.
I think the benefits of playing 0 week are probably underrated because...
Not if you like summer.
Well, I should say
and
on
I
the
do.
field, and
and
I
I
also
do.
like summer. Yeah, no, fair enough, Coach. Touche. But I think that's something that might bear fruit as early as the Troy game, right? Because you won't have that finding out period when that thing starts.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, for me, this is, I think I mentioned this in my press conference on Monday. I'm going to be in observation mode from the time the ball's teed up and kicked off to the final whistle. And so need to find out a lot about our players in terms of who they are as competitors in a game situation. And this is an opportunity for us to get a jump start on that. And this is a team that, hasn't made a bowl in a couple years. And so getting an opportunity to play more football games, you don't get better playing football by not playing football. And we need to play more football. And so because we are going to Hawaii this year, we get the advantage of having a 13th game. And that's one of the other reasons why this game was available to us.
And MMS, Events Unlimited Mobile Stage, can elevate your concert speaker or special event. Book yours today at biggestlittlestage.com, rise above the rest. Biggestlittlestage.com, rise above the rest. That, of course, is the stage in the tailgate area before home games at Mackey Stadium. If you like that stage and you want to have it, book it, biggestlittlestage.com. Okay. There was...
I'm going to give a shout out to the Row real quick, though, and Brew Brothers and Tony Marini. That I wanted to do this not at noon, but in the evening, and they accommodated us, and I greatly appreciate that. It makes my life a lot easier with the morning practices.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for making this happen.
We got good hand here, good crowd on hand here. We got Coach Flores, Coach Edwards, Coach Furlong, Coach Kovac. Everybody's here. This is good. Yeah, 6 o'clock's a nice social hour. One last thing about SMU. Are they going to play multiple quarterbacks? And if so, what does that mean, or does it matter?
I've watched them both. Their starter, Preston, going into the season. I can't imagine that. Here's the reality of the NIL world, right? So they got to keep both these guys happy.
Right.
And they're both really good.
Yeah.
And somebody's probably going to get disgruntled at some point in time. And so I could see there being a plan in their non-conference games to play both quarterbacks. Maybe hey, you're going to get the third series of the game, or we're going to start you in the second half. I don't see a big skill set difference between the two of them. So they're both capable runners. They're both accurate passers. I would say that number 2, the Preston kid, he throws a better deep ball. He's probably got a little stronger arm than number 7. I'm always good with numbers and not with names.
That's all right.
Names are
That's
your
my job.
Yeah. So I can't. My eyes aren't good enough to see the name on the back of their jersey when I'm watching tapes. So, hey, whatever. They play who they play.
There's a wonderful article on NevadaSportsNet.com that just went up, about 6,000 words by Chris Murray. It just published right before we started, about you and your story. And I recommend everybody go read Murray's piece on Coach Choate. But there was one question in there. Did you find football, or did football find you? And I know you asked that of your players. So I'm going to ask you. Did you find football, or did football find you?
Oh, I found football, and I needed it. And so I think the reason I asked that question is there's a lot of big kids walking around high school hallways that the high school coach comes up and says, hey, you need to be playing football, and that's how they end up playing football. And to me, the guy that finds football, it's part of their DNA. Whether it's the physical nature of the sport, the structure, the discipline, the challenge, whatever it is, that I would walk miles in my uniform with my helmet to go to Pop Warner practice, and I would wait for hours for my mom or dad to come and pick me up after. I didn't care as long as I could have the game. And I'm looking for guys, not guys that were found, but guys that had to have it. It was part of it was like breathing to them. And that's what I think is important in this game, because it's really hard and it's really difficult. It's really challenging. It's not for everybody. Quite honestly, I think it's the biggest test of manhood left besides the military in our country. And we got to protect this game.
What was it about the game? I mean, you played other sports. There are fewer football games than there are games in basketball or baseball or whatever. What was it that you found so irresistible? I
loved playing baseball. Baseball was probably my favorite sport to play. Mm-hmm. I needed to play football. And what I mean by that is, it was like figuring out how to get this task done, whatever it was. What if the guy across from me was bigger, stronger, faster? Hey, do I cut block him? How do I take a better angle? Whatever it was, to be able to get the job done. And there was always, every snap was a challenge. Every single snap was a challenge. And I think as you talk to the quarterbacks tonight, their challenge is more mental than it is physical oftentimes. But I'm sure that's a big part of what they love about the game. It's like this 3D chess match that's going on in real time. And and quite honestly, the other thing, I needed the structure and discipline. I liked it when, hey, get on the line and run. That was like that mental test of, I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to bury the guy next to me that the coach thinks is a better player than me, but he's not going to go as long and as hard as I'm going to go. And eventually I'm going to break him. And there's just something about that is different and unique about the sport of football.
All right, you guys ready to run through a wall for Coach Choate yet, right? Aren't you? Yeah. Okay, we are live on the Wolfpack Coaches Show. We are live at the Row. Brew Brothers, Jeff Choate of the Wolfpack, start the season 5 o'clock this Saturday in Mackey Stadium against SMU. You should go. You should see this dawning of an era. Let's quickly talk about rule changes. I don't think you'll break this streak, but every head coach I've had the privilege of having a conversation with loves to talk about clock management, because that's kind of a specific game duty that falls to the head coach, right?
Yeah.
And you get a 2-minute warning this year.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's good. We're moving more and more towards the pro game. I think that they're doing some things to speed the game up. Mm-hmm. And this is a way to draw eyeballs to the screen the last 2 minutes of each half and game. It also gives you that inside a 2-minute timeout for media. So as we start to speed the game up and use more NFL clock rules, hey, when the run goes out of bounds now, or they get a first down outside of 2 minutes, the clock's going to keep running. Now we get that extra timeout. But it does change some things. You talk about game management. I believe that there's 4 game plans that you do every week. You have your offensive game plan, your defensive game plan, your special teams game plan, and your game management game plan. And your game management game plan isn't dictated just by, hey, situational football. It's dictated by the opponent that you're playing and what you got to do to drag them into deep water, get them into the fourth quarter, and give your team an opportunity to win. I feel like that's my job as a head coach, is to try to manage the game to give our guys an opportunity to win in the fourth quarter. And then the rest of it's on them and their preparation and sometimes how the ball bounces. But that piece of having that extra timeout, there's other things. There's a ripple effect there, right? So everybody's got to take an E-chart. It's all predicated on, hey, they have 3 timeouts,
Sure.
2 timeouts, 1 timeout, 0 timeouts. Well, now they have 4 timeouts, right? So you got to go rework your the conventional take an E-chart that's been in play forever. And so there's some little nuances that go along with that rule change.
I am pleased to hear you're already working on your victory formations. That's good. That is very good news.
Yeah.
Take a knee. That's good. Can't wait to see that.
Well, you know what? It's the best formation in football.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Do you want to have David Gilbertson up next, or you want to call the quarterbacks up? It's dealer's choice here.
Let's get Gilby up. Can we get some food for these guys? I'll hook it up.
Yes, we'll get these guys fed. All right. We'll take a timeout.
Gilby doesn't need any food. He's got youngsters. So.
No, but we'll feed the fellas, and we'll get quarterbacks and wide receivers coach David Gilbertson up with us after this. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. Welcome back inside Brew Brothers. We are live inside the row at the Eldorado. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show. I'm John Ramey. David Gilbertson joins us right now, the quarterbacks coach. Coach Choate will be back up here with us shortly. Nevada opens the season at 5 o'clock on Saturday at home, Mackey Stadium, taking on SMU, the Mustangs. Get your tickets. Go to NevadaWolfpack.com. You can get tickets for as little as $20. Come see this one. Bud Light is a proud sponsor of Nevada Athletics. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And Camelot Party Rentals makes it great so you can celebrate with the best selection of rental equipment for weddings and special events. Camelot Party Rentals, proud sponsor of the Wolfpack. Okay. David Gilbertson, how did you come to the Wolfpack?
This guy right here, sitting next to me. Mm-hmm. Coach and I go back to our time together at Washington State, where I played quarterback, and he got hired there as the linebackers coach originally, and then ended up pretty much coaching everything else at some point.
Baptism of fire.
Psychologist as well. So that's where we got connected, and just kind of stayed in touch over the years. And when he got this job, the first thing I was just super excited for him that he got this opportunity, because I know what he would do with it. And when I think you've heard a lot of our staff say, when he, called and offered me the job, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. It was something I was, wanted to be a part of, and excited, thrilled to be here. So in the 8 months or so we've been in Reno, there's been a lot of growth on our team, but it's been fun, man. It's a great staff, great people. He's had a tremendous vision for the program, and just happy to be here. Family loves it here, so we like Reno.
So I'll ask you this as well. Yeah, that's
there
right.
You go. Clap it up.
Coach Gilbertson's got good taste. I meant to ask Coach Choate this, but I'll ask you both now. Could either of you, the player, play for either of you, the coach?
No, I wasn't good enough. To play. No.
Are you asking, were we talented enough, or would our demeanor fit?
I'd like the more interesting answer, which I suspect is the demeanor.
Yeah. I needed a guy like me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually thrived under guys that were going to challenge me and kind of get after me a little bit. So I didn't really respect guys that didn't challenge me.
Yeah. I'd say for me, I'm just blessed that I get to coach guys every day that are much more talented than I was. So I'll just leave it at that.
You're just going to leave it at that?
Yeah. Yep.
Can I tell my favorite
course,
David
yes.
Gilbertson story? We're playing at Oregon State the one year that I was at Washington State, right? And we're kind of running, we're actually, they're a top 25 team. At Leach's first year, it was a complete train wreck.
Tough place to play, Corvallis.
And so Gilby is our holder.
Yeah.
All right? And I'm watching Mike Leach try, you talk about clock management, right? I'm watching him try to manage the clock. So we don't clock the ball. We send our PAT field goal team, and it was a long field goal. And so we sent him out there, and Gilby is looking, and we have 2 timeouts left, okay? Keep this in mind. And the clock is running down, and he's assuming somebody's going to call timeout here. And we let the clock expire. And I run right to him, and I'm like, can you believe that? I'm trying to call timeout. And so anyway, there was I got into a confrontation with Mike Leach in the hallway of the locker room. The players probably heard it. And that was Gilby. I knew Gilby and I were like-minded at that point. I was like, because we were looking at each other in the eyeball, can you believe we didn't call timeout?
No. Yeah.
So anyway, that's my.
Not the finest moment there
No.
for the.
Well, that leads
Cougs.
me into my next question, which is, David, where did you learn clock management from? I mean, I think I know the
being in
answer.
business. I mean, I grew up. Football's been a part of my life ever since I can remember. My dad coached in college and in the NFL, so I really don't know anything different, and it's brought me to some great places, and so I'm just blessed to be a part of the game still. I think as coaches, we all resonate with the fact that eventually you're going to be done playing, but you can still be involved and impact people's lives and get to be around the game that we love.
You mentioned your dad Keith, who's I remember him as a coach at Cal, because I grew up in the East Bay, and and then I also remember him at Washington, and I was curious, was that? I suppose it had to be, but did you know you would coach when you were done playing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you get in college, everybody's, you think you're good in high school, and then you get in college football, and as you go through it, pretty quickly I figured, okay, I'm probably not going to play in the NFL. Okay, so, but as as I ended college and I was just kind of like thinking about what's next in my life, it was a really natural thing. And I don't know, I think for me, I always was kind of a student of the game. I wasn't I wasn't really big, strong, fast, anything talented like that. I loved playing, and I think coaching let me kind of dive into what I was really good at as a player, and I've been able to kind of make it a career now.
Have you had a moment where you're teaching and coaching quarterback and you thought, gosh, I just said something that it sounds easier than it is because I've played the position, right? You understand that there's a gap between the concept and the execution, and you understand both sides of it?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I try to do for these guys is make it as simple as possible. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I think that's part of my job, is to be a great teacher, and sometimes that means teaching it, presenting it, coaching it in a way that's simple for them, so that they can do their job the best, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about the guys. And so I just try to always keep that in mind. I've coached and played in a bunch of different systems, and I just try to boil it down to what's the simplest way that's going to get it done the best for those guys.
Wolfpack fans, Friends of the Pack is the NIL collective providing support for Nevada athletes. To contribute to the athletes or to learn more, go to friendsofthepack.com. It's supported by Choate Cleaning and Restoration of Reno. And also put shelter on your team for your insurance needs. You'll be glad you did. Find an agent near you. Shelterinsurance.com. Get a free insurance review. We're your shield. We're your shelter. All right, let's take a break. Let's get the quarterbacks up here. Brendan Lewis, AJ Bianco, and Mr. Purdy.
Yes.
Thank you, David Gilbertson. Well done. Well done.
You. Appreciate it.
Time out on the Wolfpack Coaches Show. We'll be back to Brew Brothers after this. Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. We're back live at Brew Brothers inside the Eldorado. We're at the Row. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show. Nevada takes on SMU, 5 o'clock this Saturday. Gosh, we are inside of 72 hours as Nevada faces the Mustangs' 7th all-time meeting between these two venerable programs. You can listen live to Mike Edwards and me call all the action all year long, 105.7 FM here in northern Nevada. Somerset Golf and Country Club offers pristine playing conditions, the best greens in northern Nevada, and a relaxing clubhouse featuring an all-new menu at the grill. Memberships, $300 a month. Go see them or call them, 775-787-1800. Okay, roll call. We have 3 student athletes up here right now. We'll just go down the row. Give me your name and your class.
Brendan Lewis, I'm a junior.
All right.
I'm AJ Bianco, I'm a redshirt sophomore.
Chubba Purdy, I'm a junior.
All right, Chubba, bring the mic just a little bit closer to your face. That's okay. And you guys are all quarterbacks.
Correct.
Okay. Brendan, you started the most games last year. You've been named the starter for this week. AJ, you started a game or two last year, right? And Mr. Purdy, this is your first go-around with the Wolfpack. I've always wanted to know, where is the line between competition and group support? Because you can't put 3 quarterbacks out there. I mean, I guess you could, but you often don't. So I'm sure there's a healthy tension there, right?
Yeah, for sure. Competition makes us all better. But I think our quarterback room does a great job keeping, like, we're all great friends. We all learn from each other. We're all out there in practice giving each other tips and what we see when we're not in. I think it's really good, friendly competition, I would call it.
AJ, you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I think a big thing for us is, being on the field is when we're going to be competitive. And, when we step off that field, we're good friends. We're helping each other out, all that stuff in the film room. But, yeah, just, separating on field and off field is definitely the biggest thing, I think, for the room.
Chubba, you may have some insight on this, but I think being a quarterback is fairly unique in sport, maybe only like being a starting pitcher or a boxer or a fighter, right? There is a real individual accountability. There's nowhere to hide. How did that seem like something you wanted to do? Because you're out there.
Yeah, no, for sure. As the quarterback, all eyes are on you. So, I mean, whether it's a good game or bad game, people are going to look at you. But at the end of the day, that's what you signed up for. And, you got the ball in your hand every play. So you get to give it to the playmakers, have them make plays. That's what's fun to watch them go do what they're best at. So it's a tough job, but it's super fun at the same time.
Brendan, is that like your mindset? You like that all eyes are on you, that you're the center of where the action is in the sport?
Yeah, it's really cool. Like Chubba said, it's really fun, like having all the eyes on you when you have a good game, feel good, or you have a bad game. It's like everything's on you, but it's fun. It's really fun. I like doing it.
AJ, what does it take when maybe all eyes are on you and it's not your most successful day, right? That also takes a certain kind of mindset.
For sure. It takes definitely a tough mindset to play quarterback. You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, but when you have your downs, you just got to, stay the same course and keep doing what you're doing. Trust the process, trust the people around you. Got to have a good supporting cast, and, just trusting them for sure.
I'll ask all three of you this question. You can answer individually, but who was it that made you want to play quarterback? I'll start with you, Chubb.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely my dad. I wanted to be a wide receiver growing up, and he was like, well, if you go ahead and catch a slant across the middle and get destroyed. And I was like, he's right about that. So my dad, he pushed me to be a quarterback. Super glad that he did. So that's basically who pushed me and made me strive to be a quarterback growing up, and then obviously until now.
But I appreciate you guys are all going to have like potentially family or people in your immediate life, but was there like a player, like a pro or a college player that you were like, oh, that guy inspires me?
For me, A.J. McCarron from Alabama, watching him growing up, I was a big Bama fan, so watching him and how he handled things and winning national championships, I wanted that feeling and I wanted that, so I'd say he probably really inspired me to become a quarterback as well.
Brendan, was there a guy for you that you thought, oh, I really like his game?
Yeah, for me it was Cam Newton when he first got to the Panthers. Yeah, he's a dual threat quarterback, and I really like to run and throw the ball. So when I was younger, watching him play, run through people's face mask and throw the ball to Steve Smith, I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I had his cleats. I played defensive end, and I bought a pair of his cleats, and I thought they were really cool. So I was like, I want to try it out.
Wait, at what level did you play defensive end?
Pee-wee. Yeah, when I first started playing, I played defensive end.
How were you?
I was pretty good. I was really skinny, though. So I was really fast.
But you're long and fast?
Yeah, I was long and fast, so I can get around that tackle and get to quarterback.
I suppose that's probably not the least relevant skill set for you to be aware of now as a quarterback. You don't meet too many DE quarterback combos.
Oh, no, yeah, probably rare.
AJ, how about you? Was there somebody you thought, oh, I want to be like him?
Yeah, coming from Hawaii, I'd for sure say Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
He went to St. Louis High School, watching him, and then especially at Oregon, I was a big fan of him at Oregon and seeing what he was able to do, win the Heisman, and then I followed him all throughout there. I've had the privilege of meeting him and having to speak with him, and it's just made my my appreciation for him has grown after meeting him too, for sure.
I know that there is the objective reality of the scoreboard when the zeros are up there. That's how you guys measure success, and that's the beautiful thing of football. That's why we all like it, because we can all understand what success is and celebrate it. But apart from that, how will you define, Brendan, success against SMU on Saturday?
Just putting our best ball out there on tape. just really going out there and playing really good football in all 3 phases in the game for the whole game, for 4 hard quarters of good football. I think that'll be a success for us.
AJ, how would you define a successful Saturday beyond the score for the Wolfpack?
Yeah, like B. Lou said, just everyone, executing, giving full effort, and, just playing together. And I feel like, we're going to see adversity throughout the game. I feel like a big thing for us is being able to stick through that adversity, staying together during those moments and, coming out positive throughout those adversities.
Chubba?
Yeah, like AJ said, there's a lot of ups and downs throughout the game. Depending on how we're going to handle it, I'd like to see that. New coaching staff, how we're going to be on the sideline. Just make sure that we're building people up, encouraging one another, and not tearing them down. Like if something bad happens, just go over there and talk to the guy and build him up. And just keep moving forward and just take it one play at a time.
Who gets the aux? Like if you guys are doing music between the 3 of you.
AJ plays a lot of reggae. AJ
Right
likes
on.
reggae.
Yeah? Is that good though? Would you give him the aux?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Okay.
I give him the aux.
All right. And best trash talker between the 3 of you?
B-Lou.
Yeah, me for sure.
Okay. Give it up for the quarterbacks, everybody. Brandon Lewis, AJ Bianco, Chubba Purdy. We'll be back. We're live at Brew Brothers at the Row. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show from Learfield. Wrapping it up here live at Brew Brothers inside the Eldorado. We're at the Row. It's the Wolfpack Coaches Show, and we want to shout out those of you watching on Facebook. Right now, we got to do a shout out. Ken Sellards. Yeah, 66. Henry Sellards. We got football dads watching right now. So, yeah, shout out. We'll see you Saturday. Folks, we do this every Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Beer and bowl at Brew Brothers. Thanks to Coach Choate and everybody. We'll see you Saturday. We're on the air at 4, kickoff at 5, 105.7 FM. Nevada and SMU. So long.